Ahead of the budget, we had a conversation with you. You had lots of expectations. You believe, in fact, you propose ways in which government can, one, spend policy interventions which they can put in to perhaps turn the situation around and get us closer to getting out of the woods. Now, I'm sure you've gone through the budget that has been presented. Is it close to anything you expected?
Diametrically opposed to anything I expect. Why do I say this? This budget, if I'm asked to sum it up in a very succinct term, I would say that it is a credit arrangement to service the IMF loan. Full stop. Apart from that, very little is there to improve the economy. Because if you look at it, they're talking about macroeconomic stability. If you look at the key pointers or the anchors of the budget, except to call for issues of green investments, everything else.
A credit arrangement.
Yes, to service the IMF facility.
To service IMF facility.
Yes, that's what it more looks like. So it more looks like a response to the IMF facility we currently have than a response to grow the economy.
Oh, so this has nothing to do with growing the Ghanaian economy, but to service the IMF facility for you?
Yeah, because it's very difficult to actually see key indicators of or heavy spending tickets that are going to go into real investments that could have a real potential of a return on investments. For example, you plow back to the government's flagship programs of 1D, 1F, and the likes of that. Something should have been said about that and what it will be bringing in. Are we raking anything from the big ticket investments that have happened in the last couple of years now? Right. So you go back again, and because one of the key components or pinnacles of the IMF facility is not to disrupt livelihood empowerment programs. And you would see that big ticket items within this budget talks about improvement or allocations to LEAP and allocations to the school feeding program and the non-funded free SHS. So it still tells you that, yes, most of these issues are just box-ticking approaches and a credit arrangement to service the IMF facility. Apart from that, there's nothing significant to see here in terms of local economic growth.
Because currently our problems are clear. Industry is complaining that the Bank of Ghana, by increasing rates, is kicking them out of the financial market, making it difficult for them to take loans. Inflation is still very high, 35.2. But industry players will tell you that 35.2, only the government knows where it is getting it from. Food is very expensive. Rules are a problem. But even traffic lights now can't even be maintained. You're saying that none of those problems will be addressed by this budget.
Now, I'm wondering how this budget would be. And the point is, it tells you how directionless the finance minister or the managers of the economy are as far as the economy is concerned, when they even use wrong terminologies by saying we've turned a corner. No, we've not turned a corner. What has happened is that we've been in an overheated economy. And I think the terminology they are missing is that we are attempting to cool off. We've even not cooled off. So if we've not cooled off, there's no way we can really turn a corner. So when you start to bundle some terminologies that are not fit for purpose for the right time as far as economic issues are concerned, then it means that you've really missed the plot.
So we need a cooling off period, which we have not gotten to yet.
No, the economy has not cooled. Right? The economy needs to cool off before we can even turn a corner. And we are not there yet. Right? The IMF facility, to my mind, if it was coming in real terms, like we've actually been able to negotiate, get it to come within the particular period we wanted to come, the second tranche flowing, we had syndicated loans and the likes of that. These are signals that we were getting to a cooling off effect because it will invariably translate into local economic growth, business expansion, and give some respite to the city as far as health is concerned.
And you don't think even the tax reliefs that they are talking about will help in cooling off the economy?
I mean, how many tax releases are we giving? To who? What targeted businesses? Right? Because if we are talking about that and you still go import duties, you know what kind of an economy we operate, right? It is import-ridden economy. So if tariffs at the port are still very high, mind you also, when government tend to mention heavy ticket items and we think, okay, well, this allocation is massive enough to transform, we're forgetting the times we are in. The time value of money is significant here. 100,000 in 2017 is not 100,000 in 2023. It's more so given how underperforming the city has become.
I see. So first of all, I'll ask you, what should happen to this budget? Because now Parliament now has to debate the budget and then decide whether or not to approve it or not to approve it. What do you think they should do?
Well, I mean, I'm really wondering how much of an effort would go into it. It's going to be business as usual. We may have, good points being raised by MPs that would have the real eye and appreciation to scrutinize the budget, but at the end of the day, I think that it's going to be adopted. I don't see the finance minister coming back to the House again to read this.
Because the last time a budget was rejected, they blamed all our problems on the fact that that budget was rejected.
Yes, so which is why the minority would be very careful now in trying to reject the budget, but they would actually punch holes in it. So they have to be more strategic and crafty as far as their politics is concerned. Because as you know, within the next 2 months or so, we're moving into an election year, and it's going to be very busy.
But you live in the UK. I know sometimes budgets are not only rejected; they kick out the finance minister, and sometimes the prime minister might even follow.
Yes,
it's because they make it sound like it's a taboo to reject a budget. Is that really is there a danger if, for example, Parliament decides that this budget is not worth approving and throws it out, go and bring something new? Does he?
Listen, we've seen it before and nothing has happened. So, in Ghana, we defy every gravity of politics since 2017 to date. So it's quite difficult to make any prediction as far as political issues, economic issues are concerned. It is difficult because we know that things are not. It's by how many reshuffles have happened in the last administration? Very little or so, if not none. Right? How many government appointees have been changed in the last 7 years or so? Very little, if not none. So I think the government is comfortable with its people, is comfortable with the pace at which it's taking the country, and is comfortable with the hardship that we are enjoying. And I think that, we can't do very much about it except to prove that at the ballot box.
I see.
So the real rejection of this budget would be in 2024.
But by that time, the budget would have taken effect. Anyway, Doc, thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you so much. Right.
Dr. SHARIF MAHMUD KHALID is Associate Professor of Accounting and Financial Management at the Sheffield University, joining us on the line. Nia Buena is in studio. He usually does not mince words when he proposes. I'm sure if he was in Parliament, he would have been one of the people who would vote against this budget. Anyway, I'll bring him shortly. But before I do that, if you're a lady, you want to maintain proper hygiene during and after your period, get Tinated Vinegar from Tinated Herbal Center.